Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Hytale podcast. For the first time in Hytale podcast history, we have real news. This is epic. Breaking news. This is the coolest thing ever. But I'm here, Chris, CanadianFlash, with my boy Myne on that side of me. And yeah, let's get right into this. So John Hendricks broke Twitter, or Hytale Twitter, last week, and it's pretty sick.
So if you don't know who John Hendricks is, he is the game designer for Hytale. So that is a very, very important role to know.
He's like way up there.
He is one of the big dogs. And on Twitter, he got asked, any chance we will be getting another dev update on Hytale soon? And he responded with a quote retweet saying, we are working hard and are on track. Right now, I'm most excited for the new team members, new tech, gameplay breakthroughs, and yes, combat. Don't want to tease or spoil too much. We will share more when we are back up for air. Hashtag Hytale. And then he replied, ... and yes, you can sometimes read the tea leaves by looking at our job postings, but it's not exact science.
But it is an exact science. That's just how we roll here. And a lot of people are taking so many cool things out of this. You know, so many. We saw this on Twitter, and people were going absolute bananas because it's Hytale news, and it's the first time since the summer blog post of last year we actually got something somewhat substantial or put towards Hytale, which is amazing, and I love to see it.
Exactly. And I think let's talk about the key words here. We are working hard and are on track, which in my eyes means that they currently do not see any delays happening. Mm-hmm. This also means that they are ready to launch whenever they think they're ready to launch. We, however, do not know that. Remember, they said at the earliest it could be 2024, but that's kind of a safe haven because it could be any time past that. So it could be in 2 years, it could be in 3 years. Whatever the time is that they set out, they are on track to hit that. So that's very exciting to hear because we've only been hit with delays.
Right. I was going to say, so what we could take from this is that there likely will be no more delays, which is the only thing we've heard since 2019. It's like, oh, yeah, actually, we want the game to be better. We're going to delay till 2021. It's 2021. Yeah. Actually, we decided to go completely cross-platform, and now we're going to go 2023, 2024. So, does this change any predictions for your beta or anything like that?
I mean, we on the Hytale podcast have always been super, super optimistic.
Yes,
Beta's
sir.
coming in December this year, and the game is launching January 1st, 2024, the earliest possible date. You know what? This is fact. It got fact-checked by a lot of people. Source, I made it up.
Yep.
And
incredible.
Yeah, I think we're looking to a great launch for Hytale next year. It's going to be very exciting.
Oh my god. How odd. Even, I don't even care if we don't get the full game. Just give me a beta, dude. Let me sink my teeth into something. Just... They're on track, dude. We don't hear that. We never hear that.
Let me take a few 5-hour energies, stack it until however long the beta is. So if the beta is 7 days long, I will take enough 5-hour energies to give me 7 days of energy, and then I will never need to sleep. I will never need to eat. I will just be able to play 7 days of Hytale. You know the vibes.
Exactly. The best stream ever. Playing Hytale until you literally can't anymore. Cool. So what's next on this tweet that we can somewhat break down?
Well, they said they're excited for new team members, and we know that they have been hiring a lot. If you've been keeping track with the job postings, which I don't expect a lot of people to do, there are a lot of job postings and a lot of new hires because the job postings seem to go away. One in particular that got some people's attention is mobile development and console development. You want to talk about that, Chris?
Yes, I'm just currently looking on the Hytale tracker that we totally don't have a Hytale tracker. A couple days ago, they put out 5 new job six new job things. Lead software engineer for characters, lead producer for adventure mode, lead engineer for console, lead engineer for mobile, senior software engineer for continuous delivery, and then senior software engineer for the developer experience.
So console and mobile. If you were not convinced earlier enough that console is going to be for Hytale and mobile is going to be for Hytale, now you have it. I will pull up a blog post quote
I don't
for
know
a
what they
second.
were saying. Like, a lot of people on Twitter and Reddit were like, oh, it's actually coming to console mobile. Like, we've known this for years now. We've known this since 2021. I got literally, you're pulling up the blog post, but I believe in that blog post, they literally said
Here's the
console and
quote.
mobile. Yeah.
The
Read the quote.
second consideration is the need to develop Hytale in a way that allows us to bring multiple platforms as rapidly as possible. It's
Mhm.
always been our goal to eventually release Hytale on mobile and consoles, as well as PC. But it has become apparent that we are heading for a scenario where our community may ultimately find itself split across devices. We think enormously important about this to avoid this, which basically means they want to make a more unanimous thing so that mobile players can play with PC to play with console, and it's not all different versions. Think the separation between Java and Bedrock.
Mhm. And once again, we're big advocates for this because, you know, the more players, the better Hytale is going to be in the long run, more sustainable, and all of that jazz. And once again, if it's mobile, most likely probably going to be free to play, which is what we like to see.
Right. I want to touch on one of the new roles, which is lead producer for Adventure, which leads me to believe that their Adventure mode is not even done yet, which I can
Interesting.
understand because that is a very big portion of Hytale. It's a substantial part of the game. But they are looking for a lead producer, which means they might not have had one. They might need a second one. But the adventure mode is still in the works. So they are still constantly crafting the story and the, I don't want to say, but the adventure around the story.
Wow. Yeah, and I mean, to be fair, they could have had like we know they had a story already in plan, and maybe they are done, and maybe they're just adding things and just continuously adding things to make it more and more in depth. Or this whole role can just be for future planning the adventure mode for Hytale. Maybe there'll be future DLC down the line that, you know, the lead producer needs to produce or whatever. So either way, I think they got time. If they're putting up this role now, like, they wouldn't have put it up if they, you know, they didn't have a plan for it, basically.
Right, and I think it's something to be said that they are communicating with us right now that everything's on track. They have things they're working on. They said they are making new technology, which could mean anything. It could mean something new in a physics engine. It could mean...
Well, they are developing their own engine, aren't they?
Yeah, it could mean new physics engine. It could mean different types of gameplay styles. It could mean a lot of things. New tech. It's interesting to see what they will showcase. I'm sure they are eager to show us. It's just the tech is not ready yet. Gameplay breakthroughs. That is going to be something also interesting. That's going to be more for us.
What can we see from breakthroughs in terms of gameplay?
Well,
like, what would that include? Like,
one of the breakthroughs would probably be like the mantling system. It was mentioned in the comments of the last video that they did talk about sliding in that blog post. So butt sliding, I believe, is what they called it. They are working on it. So breakthroughs in terms of movement, and he talks about combat in the tweet too. So breakthroughs in combat, maybe new fighting styles, maybe a new weapon class, all of those things.
Yeah, there's a lot, man, and I just want to know what they got cooking in that lab at Hypixel Studios. Like, we can only just imagine, and if you guys want to have a nice, humble discussion in the comment section about what you think they'll show in the next showcase, let us know in the comment section, because that'll be epic.
Yeah, I'd love to see what you guys think is going to be in the next blog post, because if we're going to go off the estimates that it's coming somewhere in June, July, then we are encroaching on that. We're getting close to the blog post and some new juicy information.
Right. And like we saw last year, they were basically doing like a bunch of VFX with like swords and daggers and some like big axes and stuff. Maybe they added more VFX onto other different weapons, maybe like long swords and all those things, and they'll show that in the new combat section that they're talking about. Or maybe they're showing a whole new variety of like abilities and stuff that we could see. I love combat, one of my favorite things, a part of Hytale, so I just want to see it, man. It's just get me going.
And look, it's incredible that he talks about more combat, and I do want to mention I skipped over the part where the original tweet asked about specifically combat design jobs, because they are hiring for more combat developers. I thought the last blog post, or was the one before, whichever the blog post was that talked about the in-depth combat system, I thought that was already insane. And to know there's that's not even scratching the surface. There's more combat that they haven't even showed us. It's crazy to think about.
It's unbelievable, man. And dude, one tweet from one developer on a random like Tuesday afternoon could just break the Hytale world, which is insane. So, on the bottom of this, they did say, they don't want to tease or spoil too much, and they will share more when everything's back up for the air. When will that be?
The blog post in summer.
Yep. Okay, just want to move that on because some people are like, oh, maybe we won't get anything, and a lot of people are complaining that we haven't got like a blog post or anything, or even like postcards for like Earth Day and Easter and all those stuff like we did back in the day. But yeah, I mean, guys, stuff is coming, and they just don't want to share something. Maybe they changed everything, and like if they were to post a postcard, people would be like, that's different, that's different, that's different, that's different. Like that's crazy. So we'll see what happens when they actually post something new.
Exactly, and I want to touch one last thing about this tweet, which is his reply to that, saying you can read the tea leaves by looking at our job postings, but it's not exact science. So he is kind of indicating that, yeah, we are hiring for those roles, which means that we are currently working on that. We are looking into these features. So when they hire someone for story, they are working on story. If they are hiring someone for a competitive online matchmaking system, they are probably making a competitive online matchmaking system.
Right.
So it's not exact science. So if they were getting a more general role and we try to pick into that, we could be wrong on that. But we can theorize.
Yeah, just read it between the lines, basically, which is pretty epic. And the thing is, just because they put up a lead engineer and a lead engineer for console and mobile doesn't mean they haven't even started working on those aspects yet. They could just have a small team around them already working on those aspects, and they want to find somebody who will take the lead going into the future of this project. It's not like they're just like, oh yeah, by the way, we're starting mobile on April 29th, 2023, or starting console at that time. Like, they've been probably working on this for years now, and they just need someone to lead the team in the future.
Exactly. I think we are ready to move into some viewer questions. We have a good amount.
It's a shorter podcast today. Mine is feeling a little bit under the weather.
Unfortunately, if you can tell by my voice, I'm not feeling the best right now.
And I have no voice because I was screaming yesterday at a Toronto Blue Jays game.
Yes. But there's one question I see here from Mr. AK256 asking, would GTA 6 release before Hytale does? It's a valid question, I feel like. Do you think GTA 6 will release before Hytale?
No. I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Which is kind of funny. I don't think so. Like, it would be odd. Like, imagine it released on the same time. That'd be crazy.
We have seen the leak from GTA 6, and it was very much in developer mode. So we could probably expect to see GTA 6 in 4 years, maybe even 5 years. But Hytale is not going to take that long. I think Hytale is going to come out in 2 years maximum.
Yep.
So unless we find some innovative stuff with GTA 6 that shows, hey, they are ready, I think we're going to beat the race. I think,
which is good.
That is one game we will come up for.
Yes, I hope so at least. If not, then there might be a little angry words in the Hytale Reddit.
We got a question from THIJ. I don't know how to pronounce that. Minecraft02. Question: what areas of the game would the beta contain? For example, I can't fully imagine the full game is included, but for such a large game, yeah. So that question we've already answered in a previous one, but there's follow-up questions. Also, how would they prevent people from playing the beta version until release? Require a sign-in. That's what a lot of online games do. So if you remember, or I don't know if Valorant did this, because I know Valorant's beta went on for a long time. I think they shut down they were just shutting down the servers. I think they would force it to be online, because if it were like Minecraft, once you have the game, you can play it offline. So the beta would definitely be an online game where they can just shut down the beta servers and then you can't play anymore. That's 100% how they will do it.
That'll be interesting.
Maybe we'll have an always online requirement. Yeah, exactly what I'm thinking too. Do you think Microsoft will try to buy Hytale when it's a success?
Not a chance.
I don't know where that's coming from. I think because Microsoft is trying to buy Activision currently. But if you were looking at the news a few days ago, and I know this question is older, that request got denied by the British Parliament. So, or not the British Parliament, but UK regulators, they blocked that because of monopoly reasons. So, also, Hytale is part of Riot Games, and that is a big enough company that's owned by Tencent, a direct competitor to Microsoft.
Yeah,
It doesn't really work there.
They're not going to get bought by Microsoft, and if they do, there's going to be some war between Microsoft and probably China. So, good luck.
Exactly.
Good luck.
Cyborg Kreger asks, would it be nice to have a similar kind of random murals in the game, like the Hytale logo, that show what happened to the world of Orbis during Gaia's presence, and know more lore-wise what happened and caused the world's goddess go absent, and the world to go into both destruction and chaos as we see in our own view.
So Hytale has an option like this, only seen in one concept art, and it's called a memory mirror. If I can find the image, I'll put it up on the screen. But to me, and this is in like a temple of Gaia, so clearly it's got some sort of like relative importance. And in this mirror, you probably can like right click it or even jump into the mirror. Maybe it'll transport you to a whole different dimension, or it'll just like be a cutscene. You can see a whole bunch of like flashbacks or like past events that happened. Like maybe why did Varen absolutely beat the crap out of Gaia and why she passed out, like anything like that. Why or how did the corruption get onto Orbis and start corrupting everything? Mirrors like that would be super cool, and once again really help you discover the lore of the game. And I mean, if it's interactive, that'll be sick. If it's not, either way, still gonna be awesome. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. Memory mirrors is something I would have forgotten about. But also just murals in general, I think they're definitely going to add that into story dungeons, into ruins, story events. Yeah, ruins could tell you a lot about the story, and I hope the developers try to include more of these. Like, I guess they'd be Easter eggs, kind of, because they wouldn't be like a direct play into the story, but it would help add backstory, it would help add lore. Yeah, I think it could be very interesting.
So, if you look at the Farron concept art, right, you remember the Freedom Bracers when they were like sort of enslaved by the Scarix? There is like sort of like stick figures or like caveman figure looking drawings of a Farron sort of like with I think it's on a Farron with a Scarix and it's on like a chain. So clearly that's when it was enslaved. So if you go into a cave in like Zone 2 or something like that, what do you think? You think we'll be able to see those inscribed on a wall maybe?
I don't think any random cave would have them, but I'm sure
like a lore
areas. Cave. Yeah, a lore cave definitely, or like something underground of not Scarrick, but a Farron village, something like that. I can definitely see. Yeah, the question is, how will that be implemented into the game? Is that something that you can break and keep for yourself, or is this going to be an unbreakable block?
Can you maybe right click it, or will it and it'll like inscribe itself, and maybe you see a little text on your screen and you can read it off?
Maybe cool. It would be interesting to see how that would be implemented into the game, because it is a block game, and murals would affect whatever block they are on. So that's something to think about, I think.
No, for sure, it's really cool. Yeah, or worst comes to worst, you just see a little Farron hut, right? And there you go.
Exactly. Terai asks, this is a very small point, but do you think Hytale will have unique health bars for each boss? For example, Varen could have a green flame health bar. If not, what would the boss health bar look like? Presuming there is one, as enemies don't seem to have them. That's a cool question. I actually really like this idea of like making each boss kind of unique, instead of just really like some big red health bar across the top of your screen. I really like this idea, and I hope if the game does not have that, then hopefully there is some kind of texture pack mod that can include that, because it would just make the game feel a lot more alive.
It would, and it gave every boss a little sense of diversity, even though they look quite different than, they all look different from each other. But yeah, it'd be really cool. Like, I don't know how you can really differentiate like Chieftain compared to like the Goblin Duke. Like, what is one gonna like have exploding health bar? One's gonna be like toothy health bar. Like, I don't really know about that. But like the Varen green fire health bar is dope. And
such a sick idea.
It is. Or maybe just Varen.
A Yeti or an Ice Dragon could have like an icy frost.
Yes, that'd be sick.
Health bar, and every single time you attack, you hear like this cool ice sound effect.
Oh my god! You see on TikTok like those For the Boys things, so people like grab a bunch of ice and just drop it on concrete. That ice shattering sound.
I would love to see that in the game. And there was a follow-up question. If not, what would the health bar look like? Presuming there is one, it would just be a red health bar at the top of your screen with the
Like,
name either
will
on
they have
top
health
or
bars?
to the side. I would hope so because it would make it feel more like a boss battle. Kind of
I
like
agree.
I mean, Minecraft has one with the Ender Dragon. I think Minecraft boss health bars look kind of lame. But that also wouldn't fit Hytale's aesthetic. I think they'd make it look pretty.
Yeah,
So
it's really
hopefully there are
just
health bars.
yeah,
And
it's
hopefully
really
they look
just
cool.
the Ender Dragon, that big Guardian guy, and the Wither, right? I think those are the only 3 ones with
Does the
health
Elder
bars.
Guardian have a health bar?
I think it does, right? Maybe not. I don't
Maybe.
even know.
Correct us in the comments.
I haven't
Who's
played
right?
Minecraft in a long time, so like that version. I don't. No one ever really actually goes into those like prismarine things underwater and does anything with them. Like you sort of swim away. You don't really kill the guy. So
We got another question from It's Probably Ty saying, I hope there's a playback camera that records everything you did so you can get cinematic shots without needing a second person to be flying around and trying to get angles. That would be so sick.
Please.
It would be super helpful for content creators, but it would also be helpful for just regular players.
Like a last 5-minute thing, right? Like sort of remember GeForce Experience, how they have like that replay thing where it records the last.
You could do NVIDIA replay, something like that. But also like a more long-term thing, because imagine you're just every time you come home from work, you are working on your beautiful like big mansion, and at the end of when you build the mansion, imagine if you could have like a replay system, like a time lapse, kind of showing you the progress you built from the mansion.
Well, we've seen time lapses like that. Don't know if there's just a random like AFK dude just hitting record, but if that's possible, that would be so awesome. And as content creators, dude, oh my god, just don't even get me started.
So I think the only question would be, how would the movie features work? Because we did see that in the trailer that you can make your own movies,
right?
Which indicates that there could be some kind of not action replay. That's a Pokemon cheat. Replay mod, some kind of replay mod feature. We'll have to see though. They need to give us more details, or we need to see in the beta.
Bro, I want a replay mod so badly. Like a built-in one, like the Minecraft replay mod, one of the iconic mods in all of Minecraft. But it's a hassle to set up. Like, don't get me started. It's a pain in the butt. But now it's a little better with CurseForge, but still, it's just a pain. If it's like built into Hytale, like I assume there's going to be like a cinematic mode or something, like where you can just pause everything, take a screenshot, and then upload it somewhere. If they also have a little button on the side that says replay or replay last 5 minutes in like third person or something, oh my god, I don't even know what to say.
It would be awesome. Feuerdrache Null asks, maybe talk about
is that
what
a German name?
Yes.
What does it mean?
Fire Dragon.
Oh, okay.
Maybe talk about what community projects are planned in terms of modding servers. I believe we did talk about that. Do you remember what episode?
I do not know, but
I think this question is old enough to the point where we probably would have talked about it by that point. So, if you are a big fan of the Hytale podcast, you would have already seen it. If not, go back and watch them. They're good episodes.
Yeah, and number one off the top of my head, go with Blockshot. Can't go wrong with them.
Most definitely. I feel like we did this question because I remember GT saying, "You can call me Gamer T." I would like to see a full long video of loading in the game. Loading? No, I did remember reading this. Yeah, this is not. Yeah, I think those are all the questions we have for today. What time are we at?
We're only at 23 minutes.
We're at 23 minutes.
Pretty short podcast today.
I think we're gonna call it a day.
Mine is sick. I have no voice. It's one of those podcasts. Stay tuned because we have something massive.
Very special. You want to have notifications on. Join the Discord and you might figure out what it is sooner than everyone else.
Yes.
Until then, we'll see you.